Hello and welcome to another episode of Corgi Town USA, a podcast for pets and their people. If you're new here, hi, I'm Candy. I'm the owner of Corgi Town USA, and we like to focus on pet-centric lifestyle, health of not only corgis, but our dog and kitty friends in general, and what lifestyle looks like and how we can enhance our lives with those puppers and kitties. And in my lap is Chuckles. He's our spokescorg, little tricolor corgi. He's my little heart baby joining us. And we also have the other members of the corgi committee in the studio. If we lose equipment, it has been known to happen.
It has.
We will be back. We get zoomies and frapping all over the studio, and we just plug back in. We keep going. That's part of the corgis running the town.
Exactly.
But we also have Booger and Hammer, my little degenerate myelopathy corgi who uses his wheelchair. And we have Mortimer Barnabas.
And we have Digby. Digby is my son, and I'm Catherine.
Digby the Doof.
Digby the Doof.
And Kat is the co-host and producer of this podcast. And if you like this video, please like and subscribe. As I mentioned, we are here for you every Thursday. Fresh new content.
You know what? Beyond that liking and subscribing,
tell your friends.
Take the link and post it everywhere and tag people and make them want. No, we can't make them do that.
I gave Kat ice cream today, and I'm starting to wonder if maybe I made a mistake.
She did.
All hopped up on sugar.
She did. In all seriousness, please share us.
Yes.
Share us with everybody you know and love, not just corgi people, all those parents out there.
Pet them.
Pet them.
Pet them. Yes. Well, I wanted to talk about what life looks like. I hate to say, I'm going to overuse post-pandemic world. We're still in it. I don't know that we'll ever fully leave it. But this once the pandemic hit and it was the pandemic world, life changed for pets as it did for people. And we had some issues where we had kind of shelters emptied out, which was wonderful. People wanted companions. And then people started going back to work, and rescues and shelters got full again. And there are many things that caused that. But I wanted to bring on somebody who's worked in animal welfare for a very long time and kind of have that conversation. So today we're going to talk about what life looks like post-pandemic for our pets, with our pets, for pets in general, and as well as the people, the wonderful volunteers and workers that take care of these babies.
And I want to clarify just before we go, because this is now in the pandemic. We're not pandemic-y right now.
Pandemic-ish.
When we say post-pandemic, what we're talking
after the initial shock,
after the lockdown, after the shelter in place,
the dramatic life change
where none of us could even speak to each other on the phone or whatever they told us not to do. And then we were allowed to go back out, and then we were allowed to go back to our jobs or our work or other places.
And now life is different.
Life is different and different for the pets. So yes, I'd love to bring our guest on.
Okay. So today we have Shelly Meeks. Shelly,
hello.
Welcome. Hi, thank you for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me. This is awesome.
Yeah, thank you so much. So tell us, if you don't mind, tell our audience, dear viewer, dear listener, Shelly, tell us about your background, what you've been doing all this time, let us know why you're the expert, why we think you are.
Well, I was born into this. I grew up in a boarding kennel. My mom was a professional groomer. So I've been scooping poop and taking care of critters since I was old enough and big enough to handle the pan. From there, I did a lot of customer service and then veterinary work. Started with City of Austin, early 2000s, and have worked nonprofits, municipal agencies, sanctuary, pretty much the gambit, and pretty much every spot in a shelter I've held that, I've worn that hat. So over 20 years of animal sheltering in every aspect thereof.
That's heavy work. I mean, that's
it is.
Takes a special person, takes special people.
Yeah.
I'm always grateful to those who can't do it because I believe it's taxing everywhere. It's physically,
Yes.
mentally, spiritually, emotionally.
Emotionally is a big one. Yeah. Most often those in the industry last about 5 to 7 years,
Oh,
Wow.
and they just can't do it anymore. It's a hard industry. I tell people it's an emotional roller coaster every single day.
I'm sure.
And so you have to have a really good support system. You've got to have, pretty good, decent resiliency in your life,
yeah.
Yeah.
and just try to maintain and focus on the positives. So,
Yeah, I like that. Well, thank you for sharing that with us.
yeah.
Well, we want to talk to you today about we've had this major life shift over the last 3 years, and
Yeah.
it's still ongoing, of course. But I feel like life had this sense of normalcy for everyone,
Right.
and then all of a sudden, everyone is in
Mhm.
shock. You have
Yeah.
this overnight drastic change. And
Yes.
then that kind of dragged on for what seemed like an eternity.
Mhm.
And now we're starting to get back into some of our old habits and ways. However, the world as we see it is largely changed forever in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Yes, it has.
And I wanted to focus a little bit about how that's changed for animals as well. I mean, we think about how it's changed for us, not only our pets, but animals in
In
general, and get your
general.
take on that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was a roller coaster, and
Sure.
when the pandemic hit, everybody's freaking out, and everybody's sequestered and staying at home, and now nothing to do. uh, and we saw a huge impact on animal shelters across the country. They emptied for
Yeah.
the first time since the clear the shelter event. Woohoo! One day, no, we stayed empty.
Yeah.
We had an entire pod of our adoption facility that was completely empty for months.
Wow.
Enough that we were able to assist an organization with a cruelty case that we would have never been able to house that many animals, on a regular basis. And so it was really cool for us in the animal welfare industry. We all kind of got a nice little deep breath and got to take a little bit of time and relax. It was neat.
Work-life balance. What's
Yeah,
that?
it was
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
First time ever. And the veterinary offices were blowing up. People were realizing, what it took to care for an animal. We couldn't even get into our veterinary clinics for our spays and neuters as much because so many people had adopted animals or acquired animals that they were filling all of the spots. And so one of the challenges that brought is there were a lot of agencies that were adopting out animals intact,
Ooh.
not getting the spays and neuters done
Yes.
because they couldn't get them done in a timely manner.
Okay.
But that took us back about 10 years, the voucher program. Oh, I promise I'll get it fixed. And then the staff to follow up on that to make sure it got done. It didn't get done.
Oh
And
wow.
so now we're seeing the after effects of that still. And I think that's one of the reasons that our shelters across the nation are full again to the point of overflowing is because for a year and a half, some places stopped doing spay and neuter.
Wow.
And it makes that big of an impact when you stop.
You've
That
you've just educated me.
Yeah,
Uh,
we're all thinking, and we've been broadcasting that and it's true that some animals just came back because
Yeah.
and
Various and
never
sundries. Yeah.
yeah it never occurred to
I
either
didn't think
of
about the
us.
spay and neuter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the spay and neuter.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, that had a big impact. And then people go back to work and they don't know what to do with this dog that has known nothing but a person who's been there all the time.
Hmm.
And
Okay.
so when they go back to work, the dog now becomes destructive because it's got separation anxiety and it's
Right.
eating the doors off the frames and destroying carpet and eating the couch. You come home to a snowstorm
Nice.
and you can love them a lot, but you can only handle so much damage. And if you don't work to mitigate that, it's just going to get worse.
Right.
So, and unfortunately, some people wait until it's done before they reach out for help. And the way they reach out is to surrender their pet.
Oh,
When we've got so many tools we can give them on the front end to help with behavior problems, even medical problems, things like that to help them keep their pets.
Right.
I think part of and I speak for being part of the pet community and hearing the voices and seeing posts and seeing public. I never shame anyone for rehoming, of course.
Right.
Sometimes it's absolutely
Yeah, it
necessary.
happens.
Yeah, and sometimes your beloved pets don't get along, and it's a very disheartening situation.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I think somewhat, and as part of this is speculation based on experience, but some of that is the anxiety for resources. So people think I have a pet that has behavioral issues.
Yeah.
I can't afford a behaviorist, a specialized behaviorist to
Right.
come in and spend all this time with my dog. I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to give him to someone who
can.
maybe can.
Right.
Yeah.
And sometimes it does take a behaviorist, but there are a lot of things that are fairly easy fixes, just given the right tools. And I bet you dollars to donuts, your local animal shelter has some of that knowledge that they would love to share
Absolutely.
with those pet owners before it becomes I've got to give him up.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know. I equate it to, anything else. If you've been as a human, you or someone you love has been through a traumatic situation, and yes, if you've been home with the pet and then you leave, it's a traumatic situation for them. And with a human, it's a traumatic situation. Do you just give up on them? Or do you try your best to do something? And I think sometimes we don't think of our pets as having emotions, as having,
I feel like most
problems.
of our listeners and
our
viewers
listeners
do.
certainly,
yeah,
I don't think they would be listening to this show
Yeah.
if they didn't. I would like to see our listeners become educated with this,
help spread the word,
and help spread the word when
Yeah.
their friend goes, oh my gosh, how do you keep your dog, your cat so calm or whatever? I can't do it. I'm going to have to surrender. Whoa. Did you try? So dear listener, dear viewer, we're giving you some information that you can go help all the three of us go out and really spread this word.
And I like that advice. Call the shelter.
Call the
shelter.
Yeah, they've got probably 40 years of experience between staff, if not more, on how to behavior modification, or how to fix little things that seem really big, but if you just do this one thing, it'll help. Crate training. I hear a lot of folks, I couldn't leave him in a crate for 8-10 hours a day. I'm like, so you're bringing him to the shelter to spend 24/7 in a kennel. Doesn't make much sense.
Right.
I'd rather that dog spend 10 hours in a crate.
Absolutely.
Have a family to love and care for them. Hire the neighborhood teenager to walk your dogs in the middle of the day. Put movies on for them. There are a lot of things you can do. The interactive dog toys. You can even make your own out of like a 2-liter bottle and a dowel rod, and put the treats at the bottom and spin it, and they get the treats out.
The tug jug, homemade tug jug. We learned about. Yes. We've had some other kind of trainer friends on and have talked about some of those, using a wash rag and folding up treats into it and hiding treats around the house.
Hide it around the house to give them something to do. They get bored too, and when they get bored, their method of interaction and enrichment is to eat the baseboards off of the
deconstruct.
Deconstruction.
I'm just renovating, Mom.
Yes.
I don't like this decor choice.
Start a whole new renovation.
Yes.
But thank you for that. I love that. So call your shelter if you have a friend or someone who is having these behavior issues, and they maybe everyone that I've talked to seemingly is having issues with resources right now because everything's so expensive. So there is a resource for you if you're worried about that. You can say call the shelter. I love that. And I appreciate you giving us kind of the good, the bad, and the ugly. And that's what we like to do here. And that's talking about that. I remember how wonderful it was and how heartwarming we were that
it was so cool.
oh my gosh, shelters are empty. People are adopting. It's wonderful. It's absolutely beautiful. And then one of some of our friends in rescue, like Melissa, East Coast Free Rescue, was talking about, this was maybe 2 months ago, where we interviewed her, and she said, we're
done. We're full.
Puffed to the gills. Full. We can't take surrenders anymore. She said it was as worse as she'd ever seen it.
I have never had a wait list in my career. And we now have a wait list of animals to come into my shelter right now. And it's just, I haven't seen these numbers in over 15 years. And I think a lot of it goes back to that. They didn't get them spayed and neutered when they were adopting them out. And folks don't know how to handle the trauma that their dogs are going through or their cats are going through, not having that. Well, the cats are happy. They're like, please go back to work.
Of course.
But the dogs are like, no, you can't leave the house. And so
we're best friends.
It's very traumatic for them.
So. Yeah. That's, oh my gosh. Yeah. And that's heartbreaking. And I wonder, and I'm sure it's a very multifaceted problem how we got here.
Yeah.
And that part of that too, I think maybe, again, pandemics happened. We were all in shock. We were all scared. We all wanted a companion to comfort us if we didn't have it already. Yeah. And of course, that's a wonderful, beautiful thing. But I tend to think that maybe part of what happened there as well is maybe it wasn't thought completely through on all those cases. Like you said, the spay and neuter, they think, oh yeah, I'll do that. I'll do it when I get around to it. And by the time they go back to work, they didn't get around to it. Right. And maybe didn't really research the breed and how busy are they and how much interaction, what kind of training and what kind of guidance do they need, and maybe some of that as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe, why are you adopting a pet? Why do you want a pet? What is the reasoning behind it?
Thinking long term.
What's the need?
What's the need? Where does it fit? As our dear listeners, dear viewers know, Digby was a gift from Candy. Candy was fostering Digby, and
he was a foster, and then he was a foster fail,
and then he was foster fail, and then
he fell in love with cat,
and then here I am, and it was because I was in a bad place. I had lost my husband. I was very lonely. I was very depressed, and he came, and he was a huge comfort. I brought him everywhere. I had my doctor write me a note so that I could bring him everywhere. And I'd explain to people that, hey, I'm going through something. And if it's okay, I'm bringing my dog in. And if it's not, that's okay. Bottom line is, 3 years later, my life is getting back on track.
Right.
What do I do with him?
Yeah.
Do I, oh yeah, you're done. You did your thing.
You did your thing. I'm good. I don't need you anymore.
Bye-bye. Now, is he occasionally a pain in my rear end? Absolutely.
Digby never. He's perfect angel.
That's it. He's a perfect angel,
I have 2 of those. They're like, why do we have dogs? I don't know.
Exactly. People go, oh my gosh, you have a Corgi. How cute. I'm like, you too can have a Corgi. Here you go.
Let me guess. Is he a Pembroke?
He is a Pembroke.
He's actually, and this is a very controversial topic. But I had received him from a wonderful family that couldn't keep him. But he's the quote unquote American breed where they're crossing Pembrokes with Cardigans.
Yes.
Which I feel like it's controversial because they're calling it a breed, and I don't feel like it really is.
It's not really a breed.
Yeah, but also I feel like personally we don't really know the ramifications health-wise genetically doing that.
Right.
That's scary stuff.
For better or worse.
For better or for worse.
He was around and he needed a home.
He needed a home, and I have him, and and does he have his moments? Absolutely. Would I give him up? No way in hell.
No.
No way in hell. And and the same thing. You met a wonderful man. He has his own dog. I also have 2 cats. Digby gets along with the cats.
Not so much the dog.
Not so much the other dog. So you put up a barrier in the house and you keep them separate and you do what needs to be done in order to make everyone safe and happy. And that's just it. I have a very short fuse for a lot of this. And I understand the situation that Digby was in. and there was an illness in the family, and there
Mhm.
was, you know, and there was a
Mm.
lot of things going on.
Mm.
I understand those situations. I don't
Well, and
sometimes.
you know, and again, it's
Mhm.
multifaceted, and it's compassion is very important, and
Yeah.
and having perspective is everything.
Yes.
And 100%, Kat and I are we're pet people, we're animal people. We're going to be loyal to them 100% to the end. But
Absolutely.
that's not meant to say that anybody who is in a situation where they have to give them
Well,
up is not.
Yes.
Yeah.
yeah.
So
I mean, there are a lot of folks that are sobbing in the lobby because life has thrown them a curveball that
right,
they
Oh
just
yeah.
can't dodge.
right.
Yes.
And
Absolutely.
you know, we try to offer resources for rehoming that are not the shelter. If you know, if we can't get you a crate to help you with crate training and curb the destructive behavior, or toys or food because you can't afford to buy food, a lot of your shelters are doing intake diversion. They're doing whatever they can to give you the resources to keep your pet. Um, if we can't do that, there are a lot of other options than taking them to the shelter. Adopt a pet backslash rehome. It's like Pet Finder for the general public. You can build a
Okay.
profile, you accept applications. It'll tell you what to look for in those applications and how to make a good match, and then where to meet that person to rehome that pet.
Oh,
Okay.
I didn't know about this.
Yeah, let's jot that down.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
too.
Well,
it's
we'll put it in the
Right. Yes.
description
The
box as
description
well.
box.
Yeah.
So it's adoptapet.com/rehome.
yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you so much
It
for
may
that
be
resource.
backwards, but yeah, it's Adopt a Pet Rehome, and it is a great tool, so that the animals don't even have to go to the shelter. You can adopt them out right from your home.
And I
Beautiful.
love that that's guiding for perspective as well. You said
Mhm.
it tells you what to look at. I know. So Hammer, he's my corgi. He has degenerative myelopathy. He uses a wheelchair. This has actually just happened over the last just over a year now.
Yes.
But I found him about 10 years ago from a
Mhm.
guy living in a van.
Mhm.
And that guy, you know, he didn't want to rehome him. Something happened in his situation. He used to have a home and a yard, and he no longer did
Right.
that. And he says he needs to be in a home with a yard. And very, very sweet guy. And I was lucky enough to get Hammer, and I went and got him. And he was, you know, he's a perfect dog. He's just a perfect gentleman. He's amazing. But one of the things that happened and why I was in such a hurry to go get him is he was posted on Craigslist.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
that one's a scary
Yeah.
one.
Right. And I
Do
think a
not
lot of
recommend doing that.
right.
No.
And I feel like maybe a lot of us pet people might know that, but the general public, I feel
Mm.
like doesn't know that that's where bait dogs get found. One
Yeah,
of the
Yes.
places where bait. Yeah. And so when I see a corgi on Craigslist, I'm like, somebody call now. Let's get him off of Craigslist before
Yeah.
we do
Immediately.
anything else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, Craigslist is scary, but
Yep.
and you know, sometimes your shelters may even be able to do a courtesy post for adoption. So, but yeah, avoid Craigslist, adopt a pet rehome. There are some Facebook groups, but I'd still be leery and make sure you
Yes.
do your research
Yep.
on the folks. But
Well, and I feel like a lot of the rescues as well, because as we've talked to many rescue, our friends in rescue, that they're volunteers, and that's another thing that kind of gets lost in
yeah,
people that, oh, well, why won't they let me adopt? The dog needs a home. Well, it's not typically that cut and dry. There are a lot
right.
of things they need to make sure that the dog gets in the right home for the dog and for you.
Yeah, we want to set you up for success, not
Right.
failure. Set you and the pet up for success.
Yeah.
So want to make sure it's a good match and you have the support needed to keep it a good match.
Absolutely.
And we need to have compassion for the volunteers, just like we need to have compassion
yes.
for the pets and have compassion for the people that are
Definitely.
looking for the pets. The
And
perspective
people-
again.
and
Yeah,
the people that
they
work there.
they invest their heart and soul into that, and that's not their day job.
Right.
No.
So, I mean, it's my day job. That's what I do for a living. I get paid to
And
do my job.
And still,
Right.
still,
And still,
you
I'll
know,
invest my heart and soul too. But
That's right. That's right. And we
Yeah.
and we absolutely adore you.
Yes.
Thank you.
We're very grateful
Indeed.
to you
To
and
you,
people
and-
like you, your colleagues, and the work you do.
Appreciate
And we wouldn't be able to have pets with wonderful lives if you
Right.
weren't around.
that.
Right?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
So before we keep you all night, I do want to ask, because you see that side of it. You know, there's the
Mhm.
good, the bad, the ugly, and you see it all,
Yeah.
and you see the worst of it.
Mhm.
If
Unfortunately.
yes, and I think as we're talking about this, if for listener viewer, if you find yourself in a situation, or people, you have family that maybe this has happened,
Mhm.
you had a sense of normalcy, and you thought you had the best intentions. I want a new furry friend,
Right.
adopted, and for whatever reason, it's not working out. It's either behavior issues, or now your schedule has gotten just so crazy that you can't devote the time.
Mhm.
What can you share with us, Shelly? What advice? I know you said call a shelter is great, but what would you tell them keeping these pets, if we were to try to keep them from out of the shelters and try to keep them happy and engaged as possible?
It's a lot of working their brain. They need problems to solve. Whether that's puzzle toys, snuffle mats, the hide and seek of the treats around the house, just something to engage their brain. Uh, a place where they can lay and watch the world go by, by a window, or if they're in the yard, which is, I had a dog, I swear he would not come in the house. He was an outside dog, and every time I tried to bring him in the house, he would flip me off and go back out.
Okay.
Um, you, if they are outside dog, give them a window in the fence so that they can watch the world go by. Um, just a lot of interaction. We are in the middle of remodeling the house right now. My partner works from home, and so that sometimes the dogs have to be confined to the back bedroom while the workers are doing their thing. We have one dog who is a destructomatic. Like, he will just eat the dog bed because he's bored. One day I come home for lunch and I'm like, all right, I turned on Disney. She said she went into the bedroom to check on them because they were being really quiet, and he was like watching TV. Just like looked at her and then went right back to watching TV. She said normally if I go in the room, he just like jumps all over her. And Up, I put on Up, and he apparently loved that movie.
Oh,
So
So
you may try,
Lady
yeah,
and the Tramp is probably the other one.
yeah. You may just
spaghetti.
try putting them, in front of the TV set. It works for toddlers. Sometimes it works for dogs.
All right.
Put them in front of the
um,
iPad.
yep.
That makes sense.
So, just really anything that'll work their mind. Frozen treat balls. Everybody likes the frozen peanut butter Kongs. Those are good until they get really good at getting them empty, and then they're like 10 minutes later, okay, I got it. Give me something else. So you do
Lick
have
mats,
to,
maybe.
yeah, lick mats.
Yeah.
You do have to rotate the toys.
Mhm.
Imagine watching the same show over and over and over again. You're going to get bored.
Hmm.
Give them a good toy rotation so that it's not always the frozen peanut butter Kong, because it gets boring after a while.
Okay.
And Max is trying to put in his 2 cents.
Please tell us, Max, from the dog world.
He says snuggle time. Yes,
Aw,
thank
we
you.
like
Aw.
snuggle time.
And doing that obedience training. Get home from work and work their minds with some obedience training. That is working their mind and giving them something to think about and learn, will help them overall.
And bonding with you
And
as
yeah,
well.
it'll create that bond.
Yes.
But don't be opposed of crate training. Dogs actually like crates.
Safe
They
space.
So,
they like crates. It's their little bedroom. It's their secure place.
years and years and years and years ago, had a dog,
Mhm.
and the guy at the pet store was like, you've got to crate train him. You've got to crate train him. No, can't do that. Can't do that. And he equated it to you put a baby in a crib. Nope,
Mhm.
still can't do that. I got Digby, and Digby was crate trained, and I'm thinking, no, the cats sleep on the bed with me. Digby needs to sleep on the bed. No, he does not. No, he does not.
You won't do a whole lot of sleeping
Yeah,
if
no.
you put Digby on the bed.
Yeah, he just spins. The really what I was shocked about, and we also have an X pen, exercise pen
Mhm.
for him, because we have enough room for, and he loves it.
Mhm.
And he has. I'm shocked. Our listeners, our viewers know I was not a dog person. I always had cats,
Right.
and like I'm shocked at the fact that he's now been trained by me. When he is done eating, partly when he was trained a lot by you.
Candy's like, excuse me.
Yeah, no, she gave me she gave him all but these little things, like, he now knows that his brofer is older and slower and everything. So when Digby is done eating, he goes into his little crate,
Yeah.
and he gets a
You've
treat.
instilled some good habits.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he loves his
You-
little crate.
Right. And you get that by making the crate a positive place. You never use the crate for
Yeah.
punishment. You hide treats in there when they're not in there so that when they go in there, like, oh yay, this is a cool place to be. And it makes them love their crates. Max hasn't had to be in a crate for quite a few many years, but when I did, you outgrew them. Can't afford a crate for you. Um, when he was younger and he was a puppy, I would just leave the crate open, when I was at home. And half the time I'd be sitting at the computer doing something and I'd be like, all right, where's Matt? Oh, he's in his crate. Okay.
Yeah.
He would just put himself in. That's where he liked to nap, was in his crate.
Yeah, and I was shocked, and yeah, it's great. It's so everybody out there that doesn't think that they like crates, they actually do. And
They do.
now I'll say to Digby, okay, and I half Italian, half English to him, and I'm like, Digby, andiamo, nina nonna, dialect and not time to go to sleep. Let's go. It's time to go to sleep. And
Show off.
Boom, and boom, he's like in his crate.
See, I just tell them to go get in their box and.
Right.
Yeah. Well, one means we're getting ready to go to sleep, so he settles in and settles.
Yeah.
I was shocked.
Yeah, but that's a testament to they do like to please us. They do like to make us happy and bond with us in that way, because it is interaction.
Yeah.
And I think to your point, Shelly, that's as we talk about engage with them, bond with them, do these things, that I think can be overwhelming to somebody in that situation, because I think that's another thing on my to-do list that I have to do after I go to work. And I would say not to overthink that, right?
Yeah.
It can be something as similar as you sit on the couch and you say, sit with me, and work on a routine where when you sit down on the couch and you get ready to relax, you're teaching them to sit down and relax. If it takes a little teeny part of your Dorito or whatever that is that entices
Hot dogs make great training treats.
Right. But or popcorn, right? So like anything that you're sitting down that you two can share that experience. It's a relaxing experience. It's not something that's going to take a lot out of you mentally or physically.
Yeah, the obedience training doesn't have to be an intense, rigid, system. You're absolutely right. It can be while I'm unloading the groceries, your job is to sit and stay.
Yeah.
And that's it. And to them, that's, I have a job. I have to sit and stay. I have to sit right here and not move. That's my job.
You've engaged, you've bonded, you've trained, you're checking a lot of boxes there for both of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they say children love structure. That we had that bit of time where, let the kids do what, and people say, let the kids do what they want. They're just expressing themselves. They want structure. They want to know. They want to know structure. Yes, no,
what the boundaries are.
Dogs, even cats, even as
I don't know about
my cat.
I know, right? That's what I'm saying too.
Not nearly as much. And my cats want a little bit of structure. No, we don't want you going there. You don't do that. Yes, you can do this. This is wrong. They want that structure and the treat.
Yes.
And they like that.
I think the cats are training you.
Could be. Could be.
She thinks we like the structure. We like the treats that come.
Yeah. I am much more obedient.
Right? What dogs have? What is it? Dogs have owners. Cats or
have
dogs
staff.
have masters. Cats have staff.
Yeah.
Have servants. Well, thank you so much for sharing with us your expertise and knowledge, and we'll let you get back to your evening and enjoying it. But we'll just kind of summarize. Keeping engaged. Keeping these pets engaged in a post-pandemic world. It's not do or die. It's not all or nothing. No. Small things to engage, small things to keep them busy, and things that you can enjoy and find relaxing and fulfilling as well. It doesn't have to be something overwhelming or too much. And thank you all who have adopted. Yes. And thank you for sticking it out through difficult situations. It is hard, and we don't discount that. We don't discount how multifaceted this is. And Shelly, thank you so much for the work that you're doing.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate you having me.
Yeah, thank you. Have a wonderful evening.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Well, we hope that this helps you and maybe help someone you know. And as Shelly said, if you know someone who's going through something like that and they're scared they have to rehome or having some behavioral issues and just overwhelmed, say, I love my dog, I don't know what to do, call a shelter.
Reach out to your friends, and
we're glad to help too.
We're glad to help too. Reach out to us. We can
connect
always
you.
Connect you and provide some ideas and thoughts. Check in with your friends. I'm guessing most of our dear listeners and our dear viewers are experienced parents, and some may not be.
They're like us, crazy
about
our pets.
Reach out to those friends of yours that may have adopted during the pandemic, or maybe are just adopting now, and double check.
How's it going?
How's it going? Just like you would a new mom and dad. How's it going? Are they sleeping through the night? Are they, ask and then offer to help.
Yeah, that's good advice. I think good nugget there, Kat.
Thank you. Every once in a while.
Well, we're here for you every week with new things, all things corgi and pet lifestyle. If you enjoyed this, please drop us a comment below and like and subscribe. Here for you every week. Follow us on all the socials, Corgi Town USA, from Candy, Chuckles, Mortimer, Hammer, Booger,
Catherine, Digby, and sitting home, the honorary corgi, Wiggin.
Wiggin's working remote.
Wiggin's remote.
We'll see you next week.
Okay, bye.